The second type of way to help us build these molecules is by looking at the degree of unsaturation, or IHD. IHD stands for the Index of Hydrogen Deficiency. So it's kind of a way of telling if something is unsaturated or saturated. For example, you have ethene, which has the double bond on it, and so it has an IHD of 1 because it would take one hydrogen molecule, remembering that hydrogen is a diatomic, to break that bond and give carbon its 4 bonds that are needed. So when we talk about the HID value, remember that you're adding an H2 molecule. A simple way of figuring out the IHD value is by using this formula, where X represents the number of carbons and Y represents the number of hydrogens. So you would do 2 times the value of carbon plus 2 minus the number of hydrogens, and then divide it by 2 because hydrogen is a diatomic. Now, if in the molecule there's oxygens or sulfurs, they don't affect the IHD value. Halogens are treated like a hydrogen, so you could say that the Y is the number of hydrogens and halides. If there's a nitrogen, then you're going to end up adding a value to both the X and the Y. So let's look at some examples. C2H2, we have 2 carbons, so we would say 2 times 2, and then add 2 minus, and then the number of hydrogens is 2. And then we would divide by 2, and we would end up with 2. So this means that in order to make this saturated, we need to add 2 hydrogen molecules. So we're adding 2 H2s. So the non-cyclic target, then the saturated molecule, would be C2H6. 2 hydrogens from the initial, and then we're adding 4 more hydrogens. For number 2, we have C4H8, so we would say 2 times 4 plus 2 minus 8 divided by 2, and we get 1, so we're adding 1 H2 molecule, so our saturated molecule would be C4H10. For number 3, remember oxygens don't affect this value at all, so we can just ignore that part and say 2 times 2 plus 2 minus 6. So you have 5 there plus the 1 in the hydroxyl group divided by 2, and we get 0. So that means that that initial molecule is the saturated target. All right, pause and try these last 2 in your notes. Looking at number 4, we have 2 times 2 plus 2 minus 4 divided by 2, and we have 1. So we're adding 1 hydrogen molecule. So C2H6O would be the target. And then lastly, for number 5, we would say 2 times 2 plus 2 minus 6. Remember, the halogen is added as a hydrogen. Divided by 2 equals 0. So again, this would be the same.